What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, people? My name is Ashley LaJoy, and you are tuned in to Indie Film Hype, where we focus on all things filmmaking, from directing, writing, to producing. I myself, for those of you who don't know me, I have a web series that's on YouTube right now. We did over close to 3 million views for my very first season. We're going into season 2. I have several different short films out there, working on another web series as we speak. I'm a writer, director, producer. So, I think I got a little bit of expertise when it comes to a few different things when it comes to filmmaking. A few people have come to me personally asking me one simple question. Ashley, where do I start? So that's pretty much the whole point of this. I created Indie Film Hype to give y'all the behind the scenes so y'all can take a look at different things from the mainstream filmmaking to independent filmmaking. So today is on my first video for Indie Film Hype. We're going to discuss filmmaking 101. And that's the beginning process. First thing I want to say, what folks don't realize when it comes to filmmaking, the very first thing you need is a camera. Honestly, it doesn't matter what kind of camera you have. Just get a camera. Just get a nice camera. And then honestly, it doesn't even have to be a nice camera. Folks don't realize that this thing right here works wonders when it comes to filmmaking. You could make a complete film on your cell phone. A lot of folks don't realize that it's a few different films that's on Netflix at the moment that's made on a cell phone. Honestly, my very first camera, let me see. What was my very first camera? My very first camera, I think, was a Canon T3i, or I want to say T2i, and then a T3i. So that was my first series of cameras when I first came on the scene. Was the Canon Rebel series. I think I had a T3i, I think I had a T5i, and a T4i. I think I had all of them, honestly. And I fell in love with Canon because of the color aspect of it. However, when I got introduced to the Lumix GH series, I fell in love. I tried the Lumix G7. It just didn't do for me exactly what I needed at the moment. And then I got introduced to the Lumix GH5, and that was the love of my life, which is what I'm shooting on right now, is the Lumix GH5. I still use that camera to this day, as you can see. I do have a big boy. I have a Red Dragon. What is it? Red Dragon X. But as you can see, I still love my Lumix. I use my Lumix GH5 right now. And for those of you who have a budget of at least $1,000, I think you can find a Lumix for like $1,000 right now online somewhere. So it really doesn't depend on the type of camera. It just honestly depends. Is all it's based on is getting the content shot. No matter how you do it, whether it's on a Canon, whether it's on a Lumix, whether it's on a phone, just get the content shot. So you need some type of camera. That's the first thing. Second thing that I would advise you invest in, and I'm gonna say, I keep saying invest because all of these things are a investment. You have to invest into yourself. So the camera's the first thing. The second thing is your audio. You have to have some form of audio. That's one thing I did not have in the very beginning, which kind of, put me in a place in the beginning of my filmmaking career, was the audio. Now I do have the proper audio, but you can go online on Amazon.com and get something like an Audio-Technica shotgun mic, and that'll work just as good as a Rode or any of the more higher end mics. So make sure you get some type of microphone. Make sure you get some type of lighting. I use different types of lightings. I use the LED lights. I use the what's the other lights? Lord, I can't even think right now. I use the LED lights. I use the softbox lights. And those are the two types of lights I use at the moment. Honestly, you can find them cheap. You can find them expensive. Just depends on your budget, honestly. Everything I'm going over with you, it just honestly depends on your budget. So I just would advise that you do some research on the different things that you're looking for and the different things that you want to do. So, get your camera, get your audio, get your lighting, and get some type of stable tripod depending on the camera you have. If you have a more higher end camera, I would advise that you get a higher end tripod. because you don't want it to fall off and then you no longer have a camera. So get you a high-end tripod. Again, everything's on Amazon. A few of the pieces of equipment that I currently have at the moment, I'll make sure to put in my description below. So if you want to go ahead and go on to Amazon and take a look at it, you can do so. But at the moment, I want to say like those are the 4 pivotal pieces that you would need to honestly get the ball rolling for filmmaking in any way, shape, or form. Whether it's a short film, whether it's a web series, whether it's just some YouTube videos, some skits, all of those things I just named are 4 pivotal pieces that you will need. So again, that's your camera, that's your audio, that's your lighting, and at least a tripod. And of course, the last thing is your software to edit. Now, honestly, the editing software depends on you and the type of computer you have. If you have a PC or if you have, a Mac, it just really depends. I use Final Cut Pro. Honestly, I started off using Adobe Premiere, and I actually loved Adobe. And then I got introduced to Final Cut, and for some reason, I just fell in love with Final Cut. But those are 2 of them that I've used before. I know some people said for starters they've even used Sony Vegas. I know when I first started, I was using iMovie. Honestly, before I even got into Adobe or Final Cut, I was using iMovie, and it worked just as good as any other piece of editing software at the time for me. So the editing software, just whatever you have access to at the time is just what I would advise, but you do need some type of editing software. So so again, I want to go over it one more time. Your camera, your audio, your lighting, your tripod, and then your editing software is what you would need to start out with. Now, if you want to go into further details, I am going to be posting some more videos. I'm going to try to do this little Filmmaker Friday thing like every Friday to try to give y'all some additional information. And also throughout the week, I'll be doing some lives and just giving, just educating you guys on the filmmaking process. We'll also tap into the writing process. We'll tap into the production process on how do you do pre-production, how do you even prepare for a project, how you go out there and do your location scouting, and how you find your cast and how you find your crew and those different things. So if you guys stay tuned and just rock with me, you'll be able to get all of this information and be able to create your first film or your first piece of content, whatever that may be. So again, I thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Again, I am Ashley LaJoy. You are watching Indie Film Hype, and this is Filmmaker Friday. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, and I'm out.